Good morning, folks. Frank Zorrilla here, Zor Capital, 9/14, September 14th, 8:30 in the morning. With my daily watch list, I'm going to go over my list, what I have here pre-market, what I'm looking for today as far as potential buys. And again, just what I do is very simply, I do my homework pre-market, and then I am looking to place these orders and buy these stocks or have an interest in buying these stocks because you can't buy them all if and only if they're able to go to the previous day's high. So normally, let's just give you an example here. VSTM. Here's a stock that I bought the other day right over here, and I sold it. I bought it at 902, sold it yesterday at, I don't know, 870 or something like that, just because it wasn't moving. I held it for 5 days, but the stock still looks okay. The XBI, the biotech index or biotech ETF, has been down for a few days in a row, and I'm a big believer that most ETFs are mean reverting in nature. So when they pull back is when you want to look for new ideas. When you're stretched to the upside, they're up 5-6 days in a row, it's when you want to stay away from them. So either way, VSTM is on my list today. I like to start going through 899, which is yesterday's highs. In a situation like this, what I'm doing is I'm putting a buy stop at 909, a stop at 860, and then I'll just allow the market to do whatever it is it's got to do. MVTR, medical device company. I like to stop, printed an inside day. I like to start going through 2297 with a stop here at 22, call it 2190. FNJN is a stock that I had on the list yesterday. Again, as you can see here, it did not go through the previous day's highs. It printed an inside day. I like to start going through 414 with a stop here at 390. DIN is it's a pullback play. Here's a stock that had one of these cookie cutter breakouts. It's been going sideways from March all the way up to August, roughly about 5 months, almost 6 months. It's got a cookie cutter breakout where it breaks previous resistance and it takes off. People get excited. It's going to go. It's never going to pull back, and now it pulls back. I think now's when you have the opportunity. I like to start going through 8105. Stop at 80. Buy stop at 8115. With a low, you can go as low as 77, but in a situation like this, I'm looking to raise it as quickly as possible to somewhere just below $80 a share, more like 79.80. ZGNX, another biotech stock, was on the list yesterday as well, but didn't go to the previous day's highs. It printed an inside day. This had a big move on some type of FDA. Phase 2 or phase 3 results announcement. The stock pulled back. They did a secondary offering. Again, the biotech sector hasn't been moving along with the market lately. It's been down for a few days. So, like for example, here it's down from 100 down to 95. And as you can see here, again, when you have these moves, this is normally when people start to get excited. It's up 5 days in a row. Things are really clicking. This is when you want to, push on the brakes and just take, just don't chase here. What you want to do is you want to get excited and look for ideas when the index is down multiple days in a row, like right over here, like right over here, like right over here, and possibly like right over here. But instead of just buying on the way down, look for a trend change. Look for a situation where we're going to the previous day's highs when we actually start to move higher instead of trying to anticipate a bottom. So ZGNX, I like to start going through 49.05, buy stop 49.15 with a stop at the low of the day. GALT is another biotech name, down 4 days in a row, printed an inside day. I like to start going through 557 with a stop right over here at 520. V-Ray, medical device company. If you look at the weekly chart here on V-Ray, trading sideways for a while, looks really good. I like to start going through yesterday's highs, which is roughly 997, with a stop right over here at 970. ADVM, another biotech stock that we got involved here at 614. We got lucky the next day. They caught a major upgrade with a $11 price target. Stock went up whatever it was, 20%. We took profits. Now it's pulling back, filled the gap to the 20-day moving average, down 3 days in a row. I like the stock going through 628, buy stop 635, 638, stop at the low of the day, $6 a share. ZS. I like the stock. On the list yesterday. Did not go through the previous day high, so I did not get involved. Printed an inside day. I like the stock going through 43.26 with a stop at 41.40. And again, with these type of situations, maybe one stock triggers today, maybe all 9 will trigger today. So you have to just put the orders in, allow the market to either get you in or keep you out. And then also, I wouldn't cherry pick the ideas, because every now and then you might have a feel for which stock is going to do the best. By the end of the day, you don't know. You can say, okay, this stock might do the best because the sector's doing okay. But the fact is that you just don't know which stock is going to perform the best. The reason why I do the list pre-market is very simply, I want to make this as mechanical as possible, as unemotional as possible, and just allow the market to do whatever it is it's got to do. The win ratio, it's going to be 50%. So trade management, position sizing is very, very important. So let's go over some of the names that have been on the list over the last couple of days. AMRX was on the list yesterday. I got long through this high, still looks good. So here, 23.66, I got long at 23.77. Stop, goes from 22.75 to roughly 23.05. So I'm looking to raise stop as quickly as possible. And I'm looking at, when things are clicking and moving well, I just want to go out there and try to take advantage as much as possible of these little short-term momentum bursts and these little windows that the market gives you where things are actually clicking. Because believe it or not, in the market, you're going to make a bulk of your money like in 3 months. We don't know when it's going to happen, when those 3 months are, but that's when you're going to make them. And the rest of the time, you're going to be just going back and forth. And what you want to do is just avoid serious drawdowns and keep the money you made when you had that little opening of that window. So when things are not clicking and stocks are not moving the way they're supposed to move, then I'll get rid of them immediately. And what I mean by that is very simply, BE is something that we bought. The stock printed an inside day and immediately goes up 12.5%, almost 15%. That's what I want when I'm getting involved in these situations where I'm looking for a stock that's going to make a move immediately, based on previous patterns and based on whatever it is that I've done before as far as pattern recognition and knowing exactly how a stock looks right before it makes a major move in the short term and what it should do right afterwards. So when it doesn't happen, then I just get rid of it. For example, DDD, something that triggered yesterday right over here, and it went and it sold off, and I sold a bunch of it yesterday, and I have no objections whatsoever to buying it back if it triggers again. That's that AVLR is something that triggered yesterday for me, printed an inside day, through 41.74. BE, it's something again that we own at 29.69. Took some profits off, and I'm looking to take some off today. Dish, something that we spoke about before. Here's a perfect example of a stock there that I bought here, sold some at a profit, and sold the rest at a loss. Bought it back. Got stopped out again and went back in again at a smaller size, and it finally goes. And it's doing okay. It's been basing for 9 months, and this might be, this is stage 1. This might be the beginning of a new move. But the point is, I had zero issues whatsoever taking my stop, number 1, and number 2, buying it back if I needed to, which I did. EMR, still looks okay. I'm looking for higher prices. Got long through this high right over here. Stock had a cookie cutter breakout, and all I'm looking to do is just ride the stock higher and then just raising my stop slowly but surely. Glowworm GLW, beautiful move. Bought the stock right over here through this high over here on 9.6, 33.54. It's moving higher. I'm looking to take profits as it goes higher. GTLS is something that I bought yesterday at 76.90. Had a big move on some major announcement. Stock has been trading sideways. Moving averages are hugging, which all that means very simply that from contraction you typically get expansion to in the same direction of the previous move. In this case, it's actually up. So I like the stock. I bought it. Stop right over here at today's low. HUYA, Chinese names have been doing well. Bought the stock at 26.10. Already took profits 7.5% plus 10%. I'm looking to take some more as it goes higher, or just take it off if it breaks today's low. Yesterday's low. IQ, same exact thing as Huya. Bought at 27.81. Already took profits at 10%. Looking to take more as it goes higher, or if it breaks 29.25, I'll take it off. JG, another Chinese name, bought the stock at 8.48, up a little bit, not much. Looking to take profits as it goes higher, or if it breaks yesterday's low, which is $8. JNUB, just an ETF trade, possible character change. What I mean by that is very simply, as you can see here, the white lines, the 10-day moving average, the yellow lines, the 20-day moving average. Resistance for the last few months, finally gets back above, and now the 10-day acted as support yesterday, and let's see if it starts to act as more support and starts to round out. So I own JNUG at 735, stop at 715. MPC, oil name, bought the stock at 83.24, bought more at 84.21, pretty much flat, still looks okay. Using this stop 82.80 as my stop. NEPT, just a nibble right over here when it was down 3 days in a row, and back to the 20-day moving average, and back to the VWAP from 6/19 when they signed a multi-year agreement with CGC for their cannabis. So I own a little. I'm looking to buy more as it sets up. NTRA on the list yesterday, down multiple days in a row, printed inside day on very low volume. Bought it yesterday, bullish engulfing pattern through yesterday's highs. I'm looking for, for it to go higher. This is possibly day one of a multi-day move with a stop here at 24.17. And what I mean by that is these trades when the stock is down multiple days in a row. It's in my opinion, based on what I've seen, is that in the short term, what matters the most is momentum and mean reversion. When I say short term, I'm talking about 1 to 21 days, or even 6 months. And what I'm looking for in these type of situations, when the stock is down multiple days in a row, 3 or more, I'm looking for something like this: down 1, 2, 3, 4, breaks through the previous day highs, and then this happens. Okay, where a stock goes up, it just springboard back. It just springboard from here, and then it just goes up multiple days in a row without breaking the previous day's highs. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get long through this high, put a stop right over here at the low of that one candle, and then raise your stop to the previous day highs, to the previous day's low every single day until it breaks. In this situation, if you follow that, then you would have been in at 325.31 with a stop at roughly, call it $315. And then the next day at the close, you would have raised your stop to 328. Here you would have raised your stop, and here on this day you would have raised your stop to roughly 341. Here you would have raised your stop to 368, and so on until it finally breaks here. So that's what I'm looking for with NTRA, RFIL. Bought the stock yesterday, came out with great numbers as far as EPS and sales up 77%, EPS up 800%. Bought the stock going through this high of 1050. My stop is going to be 990. RGNX, another biotech name which has been holding up extremely well relative to the XBI and MBIX. Bought the stock right over here. From contraction you get expansion. 67.87, 67.50, 67.48. So some up 10%. And I'm still holding on for more, and I'm looking for this stock to break, printed an inside day. I'm looking for this stock, if it goes to this high, to continue higher. SNPS, bought it yesterday 102.92. I'm looking to add if this stock goes to 103.10. So I nibbled. I like it, and I think if it goes to 103.10, then I think it's got more room to go. SWK, up $4. Printed an inside day right over here through the high. I'm looking to ride the stock as much as possible, and I'm looking to raise my stop as aggressively as possible to keep most of the gains. So my stop was 140. Now it's going to be 146. TGA, oil name, got a big boost because of the hurricane. Bought it at 336. So some here on the way up. I'm still holding on to some. and I think it's okay as long as as long as it holds above 350. T-Tech bought it yesterday through this high. Started, went up immediately, came back down, still looks okay. I'm going to buy more if it goes through, whatever it is, 71, 70, 75, and I'm going to raise my stop to roughly 69.90. VRTX, another biotech name that's been holding up relatively well. It's down 3, 6, about 8 days in a row. I bought more yesterday as it went through this high, and if the biotech sector starts to move higher, then my assumption is very simply is that this stock will move higher along with the sector. It's one of the best names in the sector. So my stop, I own the stock at 179.59, 180.08. Stop goes here 177. So that's pretty much it. And like I said, as far as putting the orders in, there's certain times that at the open the stock might gap up, you can't buy it. If for some reason some of these stocks are not that liquid at the open, you might have a large spread, you can't buy it. That's just the name of the game. But the point is that you want to have your scan pre-market. You want to know where you're going to buy them, where you're going to put the stop, how many shares you're going to buy, and then if the stocks don't do or act as expected, then just take them off. Especially when things are really, really clicking. I have no issues whatsoever taking stocks that are not performing or taking my stops, faster than I normally would. So intraday, I'm going to run a couple of scans. One is this one here. Any stock that's down 3 days in a row and up today, I run that scan intraday to see if, just to get some ideas. And again, this scan is very simply just gives me stocks that based on the best performing stocks in the short term. If you study them every single week, you'll realize that 30, sometimes even 40% of the companies or the stocks start their moves after being down multiple days in a row. So this is a scan that I run every single day, and every now and then I'm going to find ideas and I'll buy them. And then I run this scan here as well, which is looking at stocks that have not, that have been, I wouldn't say flatlining, but have been digesting their moves and break through the previous day highs. And then I'm looking for those to see if I find any ideas. So either way, trade them well and be well.